And we are back. What is going on, guys? I hope you are well. Welcome back to another episode of Dieting from the Inside Out. If you are new here, I'm really grateful for you. My name is Jared Hamilton. Welcome to the show. Whether this is your first time listening or you've listened to all 236, I think this is 236 episodes of the podcast. Either way, I appreciate you. Today is going to be a really impactful episode for you because I'm not doing most of the talking. So here's the cool thing. Today's episode, we are doing a three-way podcast. It's really exciting. I don't do these very often. So today there's me, but then I'm interviewing basically two other people. One of my coaches, Coach Abby, but then also our client, Megan, because Megan has had an insane past, I think like 90 days, 3 months, something like that. It's been crazy. It's been the coolest thing to watch. And the reason I wanted to get Megan on and tell her story and share that with you is I want you to know what's possible. I don't want you to sit here and think like, oh, well, that's their life. I can't do that, or whatever the case is. Because too often what happens is from let's say the consumer side, someone consuming the content, the person scrolling Instagram or listening to the podcast or whatever, it's easy listening to someone like me talk and go like, okay, but he's supposed to say that because he's the coach, right? It's kind of like when my mom tells me I look nice. It's like, well, mom, you're supposed to say that. A lot of times people feel the same way when it comes to like this kind of stuff. Like, you know, of course I'm going to tell you like, absolutely, here's what you can do. Here's what's possible for you and things like that. And it's absolutely true. But sometimes people aren't so quick to believe it because let's say I'm the coach, right? Well, here's the thing. It hits different when it's someone just like you or potentially someone in a worse scenario than you. You know what I mean? Like, because we all have reasons why we think like, oh, we can't do something or that's not in our reality or whatever the case is. But when you hear the story of someone who literally has a life just like you, who is just the exact same profile as you, they have the same type of job, the same life stressors, the same issues, the same whatever, the same history, or potentially even worse. And you hear their story, you hear how they overcame, you hear how they did what they did. And now you have hope. Now you have a game plan. Now you have, oh, well, maybe if she can do it, I can do it. And that's what I hope to give you in today's episode. Because just a little bit about Megan, I'm just going to just briefly mention this, then we're going to get right into the meat and potatoes. Because here's the thing with Megan, the reason I wanted to get her on here and talk about this is because to know it's possible for you. In just a little, in short, in Megan's case, she was dieting literally for the last like decade, not last like year or two. I'm talking about like the last decade. Like if she had a child when she started, that child would be 10 or 11 years old. Okay. She had zero confidence. She had zero success. She dieted for 10 years and had nothing to show for it other than more weight gain and more frustration. She had all the struggles, all the binge eating, all the emotional eating, all the I know what to do, but I'm not doing it, all the consistency, all the failures. All right. And then the worst part about this is the truth for so many people. And then it was bleeding into other areas in her life, her work, her relationships, her happiness. You see, that's why you got to be careful. Starving her own self, things like that, horrible relationship with food. That's where she was for like the last decade. Okay. But literally she was able to 180 all of it in like the past like few months with us. It's insane. I've absolutely loved watching this and being a part of this. And actually, to be honest, I've been watching over it all. And Abby has been the one in the trenches with Megan in our coaching program. And it's been the coolest thing ever. But I want you to take Megan's story and listen to it and really be able to apply the principles that she's going to talk about, what has been helped her be more successful with all of this stuff and what's changed in like the past decade for her, and then apply some of those things to your life. So I'm not going to take any more of your time. Actually, I'm going to take just a little bit more before we get into the meat and potatoes, because we have to give our wonderful sponsors a big thank you. Sponsor number one is FlexPro Meals. I love FlexPro with all of my heart and soul, and they have been so convenient and so good. I mean, it's at the end of the day, guys, our lives are predicated on convenience. So many of ours are. Yours may not. I know mine is. Most people I know is, and especially with things like life, travel, family, unpredictable stuff, it makes it hard in a lot of cases and not so convenient to keep things in line. So in my case, having FlexPro in my fridge on deck where I can just grab and go while staying well fed, while staying satiated, while the food tasting amazing, and all the numbers being on point and staying in line for my goals, it's a no-brainer. So hell, I just got back from a Montana trip and we had Flex Pro meals out there. Actually, I didn't bring them. A friend of mine brought them, and all the restaurants around us were closed. And so we actually snacked on some Flex Pro meals. It was pretty cool. But if that's something that is up your alley and you're like, man, I just kind of wish I didn't have to cook so much, or I wish I had just some stuff where I wouldn't have to go through the drive-thru and spend so much money, like spend $16 a meal or $14 a meal going through a drive-thru and then feeling like shit afterwards and all this stuff, definitely check Flex Pro out. I think you'll be shocked at what's on their menu. I'll leave all the info below in the description, or just go to flexpromeals.com and use my code HamiltonTrained if you want to save some money. It saves you like 20% at checkout, which is a lot. Then big thank you to sponsor number 2, which is 1st Phorm. As always, I have some of their clothes on. This is actually one of my favorite sweatshirts. It's one of theirs. But 1st Phorm, guys, is another staple in my life personally, so many of our clients' lives, and so many other people, because supplements are not everything, but they definitely have their time and their place. And here's the thing. I'm not one to push supplements. They're not a massive game changer like in your life, like that kind of thing, but they can be a huge deal when they're filled in the way that they should be, right? Supplements should never be the main thing, but they have their time and their place. Like if you struggle to get your protein intake in, having a protein powder or protein bars on deck that work great for you is a game changer, right? Like I know when I was traveling, I had 1st Phorm bars in my bag and they were game changers when I couldn't find anything at the airport to eat, right? Things like when your joints are bad, taking things like fish oil, things like joint supplements, things like that are just game changers. Like I know I don't eat enough plants, so having a multivitamin helps fill those gaps. It's that kind of stuff, because you would be shocked at what that will do and how it'll make you feel over the long haul. It's not like you don't need to get into like test boosters and glucose blockers and all that kind of stuff. Like that's really not needed, but a lot of the more fundamental things, it can be a game changer. I actually have a video on my YouTube if you're not sure where to get started with supplements, but my thing is 1st Phorm is a no-brainer because it's just some of the best quality you can get, some of the best customer service you can get. And I know and can feel good when sending all of our clients there that they're going to get taken care of and get what they need. So big thank you to them. And I do have a free shipping link in the description. If you use that link, it'll give you free priority shipping. And yeah, that is it for our sponsors. I appreciate them and you guys. But now without further ado, let's get into the meat and potatoes of the podcast. And you can hear from Abby and Megan. I know you'll get a lot out of this, and I'll talk to you soon. Well, I appreciate you guys doing this. I know it was totally random out of nowhere and stuff, but I'm really excited to hop on and do all this. So I appreciate both of you guys doing this. So
absolutely happy to be here.
Well, because it's funny. I don't know if I told you this, Abby. How it started was Megan and I had a call like set up like a normal call, and it was like after she just got telling her story a little bit more, I'm like, do you want to just come do this on the podcast? This is way too good to just keep all bottled up inside. So,
it's incredible, right?
Yeah, I love it.
You've done an amazing job.
You're killing it. Like that's the thing,
no,
Megan, is you're crushing it so well. And that's the thing is when someone like Abby or I say to some other person, like, here's what can happen. Here's how well you can do. Here's like, you're not that far from your life change. It's kind of right up there in most people's eyes as your mom telling you you're pretty. Like, mom, I could have like a football growing out my forehead and my mom would go, you look nice. Like my mom was like, when I grown up, my mom's like, you're not fat, you're husky. It's like, you're designed to say that. So when someone else comes on who's just like these other people and they're like, no, you don't understand. I had this issue. I had that issue. This was going on, and I did this. Like, it opens people's eyes, and then it just ends up helping thousands of more people. So I'm really appreciative that you're even just so willing to do this. So
absolutely, thank you again for having me on here. This is so cool.
Let's do this just so everyone's aware. Like, get into a little bit of like your story personally about like kind of where things were at, like leading up to like coaching starting, and like kind of like the hellhole you were in, and kind of what that stuff looked like, just to really set the tone for where things were.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, it kind of really started like I've been dealing with this since I was like 12 years old. Like I've been having body image issues and a really, really terrible relationship with food for like as long as I can remember. So I was trying to repair that. You know, that's kind of where I was. I wanted to have a better relationship with food. I wanted to take care of like my mental health. Like, so leading up to coaching, I was kind of just in a bad place where I didn't know where to go. I didn't know where to start. I felt a little hopeless. And yeah, I just feel like this has really been like it's transformed my life. And I don't say that lightly.
I love that. That's exactly what we want to hear. And so like when you say you were just feeling hopeless and this was since you were a kid, so we're talking about like how many years were you struggling? Like a decade, like a decade and a half, like
a decade. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So like had you tried other things before? Like what like leading up to that was like when you said this has just been a struggle, it's like you could check every diet off or like nothing was working and binge eating was still happening or whatever. Like how bad was it?
It was really bad. Like when I say it was like a binge restrict cycle, that's how I felt so hopeless. I was in this never ending cycle of like losing weight, gaining back all of the weight and then some, really terrible like body image issues. And it was like, I was starving myself. I was trying, because I listen to all these other types of people like online telling me that I need to be eating less than 1,200 calories a day because I'm short. And
how tall are you?
So I'm 4'11".
Hell, let's go.
So it's like, well, you're so small, you need to eat like a rabbit. Like you need to just nibble on a carrot all day and then that's all you can have. And it was like, no, like I can't do this. I just can't.
No, I totally get that. And that's such a big thing we see all the time at like industry wide. Like you hear someone asked on my Instagram Q&A yesterday, they're like, hey, I'm a shorter woman. Is losing weight harder? And I'm like, I think every short female on the planet should test their upper range. I was just talking to Ashley McKinnon about this. We got her up to like 2,400 calories and she's 4'11", I believe. Abby, how tall are you?
5 foot right at.
Okay, so I think I'm short as fuck and I'm 5'6". So like I would like tower you guys. Like I love standing next to Abby because I feel like such a big person. But like that's the stigma, right? Is like, oh, you have ovaries and you're short as shit. So like you have to eat 1,000 calories a day. But like in your case, you've been able to be completely well fed, but at the same time, you've been dropping inches and fixed your relationship with food, stopped binge eating, and then have like lost weight on an accident. That almost sounds like too good to be true.
It is. I mean, but that's the thing. That's the most mind-blowing part of all of this. It was like the aha moment. Like I remember Abby emailed me one day and was like, hey, just see that we've increased calories. Your weight's going down, like losing inches. And I was like, how is this happening? It's like, how? I don't understand it, but I'm not mad at it.
What's your calories at right now?
They're 1,600 to 1,800.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And you still are like, and are you guys still going up or are you guys stopping around that?
We'll probably work our way up just a little bit.
See how much more? I love that.
We get comfy.
but how, well, cause that's the thing is the truth is if you're losing weight, you're still in a deficit. So if like,
right.
that's the thing is, a lot of people, it's super funny. We have clients all the time because like everyone knows it's a 3-stage process, like dieting from the inside out, fat loss accelerator, lifestyle optimization. Well, everyone's so itchy to get into stage 2. Everyone's like, it's like half of the people we work with are like, hey, I think I'm ready for stage 2. I think I'm ready for fat loss. But they say that while they're where you're at right now, where you're losing weight. Like, could you imagine saying like, Abby, I think I'm ready to lose weight. I think we're ready to go into fat loss. And she's like, you're doing it. Like you're literally like inches have fallen off while calories have doubled. You know what I mean?
Seriously. And it's like, I have pairs of pants that I could wear at the beginning of the summer, but now they're literally just too big and they fit me awkwardly.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how did this happen?
Mm-hmm. Now I'm curious of this because this is like here nor there, but I'm just curious because this a lot of times messes with people's heads. Is your scale going down or is it's staying the same because your calories are up, but everything else is dropping? What's that looking like?
Yeah, it's like staying around the same. And I see it like every day. It's like, okay, maybe up a pound, down a pound, right around the same. But I'm physically fitting better in all my clothes.
Absolutely. Is that something you struggled with where it's like your brain wants to look over all of the pants that are literally falling off of you, the inches drop, the food relationship heal, the binging that's not happening. But then like on paper, the fat loss that's happened, the inches that have come off does part of your brain want to naturally go, but the scale hasn't moved. Is that a thing?
Yes. I mean, I think it bothered me more. Like the scale used to have like a chokehold on me. It really did. And now not so much, but I mean, I still think to myself, like, how is this happening? Like, this doesn't add up.
Yeah. Abby, what's your perspective on that from like the coaching end of things?
So my perspective, right, is just understanding that my job is way more important on Sundays come check-in time. That like, hey, hold up, because you're doing real well over here,
Yeah.
right? These things are happening. But I think that we all, I mean, and I'm 5 feet tall and little, I struggled with this too, for sure. Not that only little people deal with scale issues, but like there is a chokehold that it has, especially as you're kind of getting comfortable with it. And you have to have somebody it, who's on the other side of it, who knows the science behind what is happening, and that, hey, as long as we're seeing it just come down or we're fixing food relationships, this is worth it. Um, Somebody to kind of keep you grounded, right? Because in Megan's case, for sure, like I'm thrilled for her that the inches are changing, but if I'm being real, like I could give a shit less about that because I know that what was going on inside was so much more important, and fixing that and getting her to a space that she was just good was way more important. So knowing that she has somebody that's on that side of the fence, like, hey, who cares if the scale is staying the same? Who cares if the inches are staying the same? You're eating like Chipotle on a regular basis. What more do you want from your life right now?
Right.
I don't need anything else.
I love that. No, that's super cool, and that's exactly what I love to hear. Because like that's the thing. Like, is it, Megan? Is over time as this is happening, is it like getting better? Where like the scale is like, okay, I don't like it, but I'm not like gonna like ruin all this dope shit that's happening because of it. Is it getting better?
Oh, absolutely. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Like before I started this program, I was one of those people that like, if I, stepped on the scale the next day and it was like a pound up, I would be like, all right, I'm throwing everything away. How is this possible? Like I barely ate yesterday and I'm gaining weight and whatever, screw it. And now I'm like, this is natural. This just happens. This is okay. Cause it's like, I know my clothes are fitting better, and I know I have Abby there in my corner, and she's reminding me of this. Like this is normal. This is okay, and we almost want to see it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know, absolutely. So much of this game is like, because here's my thing: is we are so cool with so many things as long as expectations are in check. Like on a really morbid level, like we're way better at handling something like death of a loved one if we expect it, right? Like when grandma and grandpa dies out of nowhere, wow, that's hard. But like in my grandpa's case, we knew for a while he was going to go. It still sucks, and no one likes to see their loved ones pass away. But when you see it coming, it because of the expectation, it changes a lot. Like the other analogy I like to use a lot is, can you imagine if no one ever taught you what a period was?
Oh my God.
It's like, why am I bleeding like a wounded animal? Why am I in so much fucking pain? It feels like an alien's crawling through my stomach, and I think I'm going to die. But now, like, you don't, again, I'm a man. I don't know I have a man period. I fully own that. But like, I know it's not the same as what you guys deal with. But it's one of those things where it's almost a bad thing if you don't get it, right? You panic if you don't have your period. You're like, what's going on? Am I pregnant? Yeah. Like, but even though you don't like the reality of a period because it hurts and it's uncomfortable, you know it's a biological process and supposed to happen. This is the same thing with scale fluctuations and so much of the nuts and bolts of proper fat loss. It's like when someone says, Jared, I haven't seen drastic progress. I'm like, good. That means bad. Like drastic progress from day 1 to day 5 is bad. That means bad shit's happening. That's when you're throwing up after your meals, or you're sick, or you're in a super deficit, or whatever. You know what I mean? So like for you, was there any other big eye openers where it's like, oh, this is supposed to happen? Or was the scale the biggest one?
I think the scale was the biggest one, but I also think it was how, like, just increasing the calories. And then it was the moderate exercise, the strength building, the focus, rather than, me running like a 10-mile loop every single day and like over exercising. Cause I think that was something that I was also doing before I started this program. And it was like the compensation of like, well, I ate a lot yesterday, I'm going to run a ton today. And it's like, I'm just sticking to, my workouts as best I can. And I'm seeing this change. And it's not like I'm like exhausted every single day. Like it's so manageable.
I love that. Abby, from your perspective, did you see a lot of that? Like, hey, pre-coaching, a lot of crazy psychopath cardio bunny shit. We got to rein this in. Like, what was your perspective on that?
Yeah. So my approach is honestly the same with everybody. Like where I assumed that either pre-coaching, you were on one end of the spectrum, right? Very rarely do people come into coaching with the moderate, like, oh, I strength train 3 or 4 days a week, totally chill, right? It is, I do nothing and I hang out at home all the time, or I am working out 14 times a week. And if I'm not doing 2-a-days every day, I'm not doing enough. So for everybody, and we kind of chatted about it for sure on our welcome call as well, like what things look like beforehand, and just bringing that down to a livable level, right? Because what you're explaining, Megan, and like what so many people are doing with exercise is not survivable. Like you should not have to not clean your house for 2 weeks after a workout. You should not have to live on your first floor for 2 days after a workout, or like cry every time you need to go sit down on a toilet. It's insane. So bringing that down for everybody, super important. Or obviously, if you're on a reverse side of that, just getting to like 2 or 3 days a week is an awesome place to start.
Was that hard? So Megan, was that hard at first to like wrap your head around? Like, because that's the thing is was throwing quite a bit at you. It's like you came from a place of exercising like crazy, eating like a bunny, crazy rigid protocol, all this stuff. And then we just literally 180'd all of it, where it's like, all right, we're going to eat way more because we know you're going to lose weight. We're going to dial your workouts way down and you're going to feel like you're not doing enough. Go. Like, was that hard to wrap your head around at first?
It absolutely was, because it made me feel like, because I was so used to that, again, that like I'm in it. I'm in my exercise mode now. I'm in my like diet phase or whatever. And it's like, I was just going from like 0 to 60, like, you know, and then to kind of dial that back and be like, you don't have to do that. You don't have to restrict and over exercise every single day and like beat yourself up if you don't work out 7 days a week. Like, but it's so amazing. Like I can't say enough good things about it, because that's what I needed.
Yeah.
Because it's unsustainable to go so like to exercise so much and eat so little for so long. This is so sustainable, and eating the things that I want to eat has also been like huge to me.
Mm-hmm. And so when did the pivot, like I know sometimes some people can point to one moment in time, and others, like it's almost like a slow, like when did your hair grow out? And it's like at some point between then and now. But for you, was there a point where you're like, oh shit, this is working? Like, was there a point where you're like, where it went from, oh my gosh, I can't believe you're having me eat this much and work out this little and eat all my favorite foods, to hell yeah, this is what I'm talking about? Like, was there like a defining moment, or was it just like you ended up over here?
I think it was the time when Abby did reach out to me and say like, hey, your weight's trending down and we're increasing calories. And like that was the moment where I was like, oh, here it is, like on paper, like here it is, here's the proof right here. And it really was that aha moment where I'm like, oh, I like actually weigh less than I did when I started this. And I'm eating so much more.
And working out less. Well, so here's what's funny. This is the piece no one understands, and I'm going to try to explain this as in layman's terms as possible for everyone listening. This is literally the moment. This is my favorite moment in coaching. What just happened to you is because from a because we talked about this a little bit on our call the other day, but for everyone listening, this is why the psychology of how things are laid out and why we do things the way we do is because we need what you just described, what was irrefutable proof. Because what happens is our brains are pure. If you study like neuroscience, our brains are only records of the past. So if anytime you've ever been successful losing weight, you've starved and worked out like a maniac and did stupid shit and gave up your favorite foods, and that's the only thing you've ever done, and anytime you worked out less, ate Oreos, you gained all sorts of weight, your brain is purely this record of the past. So it's no wonder that's all it associates with, right? Like if you lived in a bunker underground and you've never seen daylight, your brain just knows that is reality, right? So your brain only saw that as a reality. This is what I call like when people ask like, how do we incorporate inner work and how do we go about this? I always say inner work is a combination of new information and uncomfortable action, because I can just say like would it have done anything if I said, yeah, Megan, here's the science behind reverse dieting. Here's the science of strength training and eating more. Would that have fixed your problems?
No.
Right. Because fear doesn't give a shit about logic and data. I could give you a pamphlet to say, here's why you shouldn't be scared to jump out of a plane, but all of our hearts are going to be racing when that door opens. So fear in the emotional side of us, because we're emotional beings, don't give a fuck about logic and data. but it does give a fuck about irrefutable proof. So this is why literally from a coaching standpoint, our first goal is to get you to have irrefutable proof. Whereas, and this is what this does, is creating a new reality or a new history or a new record of the past. If you have this shitty record of the past, all we have to do is develop what in the sciencey terms is called the neural pathway of this new record of the past over here. So we got you, so like that's when you went through it, you ate your favorite foods, added more calories and worked out less. And then you got this reality over here of the one thing you wanted, which was weight loss. And your brain literally from a really deeper level, it went, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah, it did.
It's like, everything I've known up until this point has been wrong. Because here's the thing, we can try to force it and go, no, just push all this information. But the brain, because here's the thing people don't understand. The brain only cares about self-preservation. It doesn't care about happiness. So it's just trying to like tell you the stove is hot. Well, now that's what this new reality has done, is your brain has gone, wait a second. Holy shit. Like, and now it's almost like somebody snapped their fingers and snapped you out of this illusion. Cause that's what happens. It's almost like if you walked into your house and your dog was on the ceiling, your belief of gravity just got shattered. Right. Mm-hmm. So, and that's exactly why that happened. And it's everybody's like come to Jesus moment where you have this new reality. And it's like, holy fuck. And it's like your brain just goes, okay, we're good. Sorry, I was wrong. You know?
Absolutely.
Abby, is that where you see most people? Like that spot where they have like this new reality that goes against all their old belief systems and the old belief systems get shattered?
No, absolutely. And it's so freaking true, right? Like, and I like to explain it to people, it's like, eventually we're going to get you brain buy-in. Like eventually something is going to happen and we're going to get you brain buy-in. But until then, like, I just need you to trust me. And I need you to understand that like you chose to come to this program for a reason. So bear with me. But that's where I can give like Megan all of the credit in the world, because from day one, like with zero brain buy-in, she was like, okay, like nothing else has worked. So why the fuck not? Like, it's not going to work any less than anything else has. And she jumped in and she did not ever look back. And through, bless her heart, like she's been through some crazy shit the last 3 months, like where life has just been chaos. Like if we had a picture perfect client of like progress within chaos, it's this girl, right? And she's crushed it. Like, and it's never been hey, my life's a hot wreck right now and I need 10 minutes, or hey, my life is chaotic, I'm just going to take a week off. Like her response is, hey, my life is fucking crazy, but I own that nutrition. I got my workouts in, and like my boyfriend and I went on some walks together, and I like calmed myself down. So that's where like, for sure. And we see this with so many clients, but like homegirls, the picture perfect proof, like if you just trust us for 5 minutes, like we will fix your problems. Right. But she jumped in and she had no qualms about, okay, like everything that you're telling me sounds completely different than what I know, but I'm going to give it a try. And it's changed absolutely everything, which is super dope. And that's where like, we absolutely have to get to brain buy-in, but you need to do the stuff first. You need to have just a little bit of faith to get us to your buy-in moment.
Megan, for you, like I'm trying to think how to word this. I don't know why my computer's making an obnoxious beep. So, was it that easy for you just to like blind faith? I mean, literally the people who succeed with any level of mentorship the most, blind faith. My mentor, I was scared shit. Like when I hired my mentor, most amount of money I've ever spent outside in one transaction in my life. And I was petrified, but I just knew my results weren't what I wanted. And I had blind faith in that motherfucker. And I never looked back. So for you though, was it always just like, I don't want to say effortless blind faith, but was it like, talk about that a little bit.
I think that I was at a point where I'm just like, nothing else is working. I am, again, like I said, like feeling so hopeless. And I was like, I really trust Abby. I trust her judgment. And it kind of I was like, listen, screw it. Like, I'm just going to jump in. I'm going to dive in head first because I committed to this and this is what I want. And this is something that can transform my life. And if you're telling me that you can, it's like, I'm going to believe it. I'm going to do it. And it really has.
I love that so much. And that's the thing is, and so for you, it was almost logical. It wasn't like emotional. It sounds like.
Yeah, I guess I guess it was probably, yeah, more logical.
Yeah. Cause like this is my thing, and this is what I teach my entire team. And the way that I view any sort of like, especially the business side of coaching, I tell like when, like, especially when I'm talking to like handling like this, the marketing and the sales and all of that kind of stuff, is I tell my people, I'm like, hey, I don't want you to do emotional selling at all. Cause like my thing is everything should be very logically driven. We're emotional beings. We make decisions emotionally, right? But people make dumb decisions when the driver's seat is emotion. This is why we want everything to be logical. It's why like I'll tell people straight up on the phone, like my businessy friends think I'm like an idiot for saying this sometimes, but I'll tell people like, hey, I don't want to sell you. I want you to decide this is what you want for yourself. Like, cool, if it is, let's lock arms. But if not, and you're not ready or you're not there yet, dope. Like, I'm always here for you. And that's literally like my business model, right? Because otherwise, imagine how hard this would have been for you if you didn't have that logical buy-in, if it was purely emotionally driven. You see what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So like, I'm curious. I think we were talking about this a little bit on the phone the other day. Do you feel like, is there something in the back of your head that's like, when's this hat going to drop? Like, when's this dream going to wake up? Because I feel like this is fake.
A little bit. Because I'm like, okay, when am I going to wake up and be like 20 pounds heavier or something? Because it's all going to catch up to me. But really, it's like, I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to take what I've learned so far. And, I'm going to continue with Abby's support, just kind of working through whatever is going on in my life, and just like kind of, I'm dedicated to this, and I'm going to keep going.
Do you feel like from a principle standpoint, like obviously you're not going to be tracking calories forever, but do you feel like from a principle standpoint, you could do what you're doing for like ever?
Honestly, like, yeah.
Is that weird to say?
It's so weird, but it's like, I don't know what it is, but I'm like just prioritizing protein without thinking about it. I'm exercising because I enjoy it, not because I'm trying to make up for whatever I ate yesterday. I'm like eating all of the foods that I love, and really just kind of like listening to my body. If, say I don't know how many calories are in something, it's like, I don't even have to think about it anymore. And it's incredible to finally come to that point after 10 years.
How long have you guys been working together? How long has it been?
3 months.
Dear God.
Yeah.
Dear God. Like
yeah.
that, could you imagine how much hell I would get online if I said, if I like said, hey, we'll in 90 days or less, sound like an infomercial, will double your calories while losing weight, while stop binging, while healing your relationship with food, and solving every problem you've had over the last decade. I bet you wouldn't have believed it if I told you that. I bet you wouldn't have believed it. I wouldn't. Like, that just sounds like, it sounds spammy and sleazy. But actually, let me ask you this, and I was totally not going to take this conversation this way. Was there a level of releasing any outcomes for you where you're just like, I don't even care anymore? Where like the outcome, like you're like, yeah, I want these outcomes, but they're going to happen when they happen. And you were like less psycho about the outcomes. Would you say there's a level of that?
Oh, absolutely. I think I used to be so focused on like seeing that immediate change and like doing things that were so drastic to see that. And it's, again, that's unsustainable. And then at this point, that's when I was really just trusting Abby. And I was like, she's telling me I need to eat more. This sounds crazy to me. I'm going to do it. And it's like, it pays off. So it's like, I just kind of let it go. And I was like, whatever happens, we'll adjust course if needed. And yeah, it's been freeing.
Abby, do you find that's a commonality with everyone who crushes? Like, there's a level of releasing of outcomes?
For sure. And I just pulled up my like welcome note from Megan, because as soon as you asked that question, I was like, she said these fucking words to me on a welcome call. And she did. On her welcome call, she was like, I don't care. Because I ask everybody, like, what are your goals, right? She's like, I don't care about weight loss. I don't care if I gain a bunch of weight. I just need to be able to eat food. I just need to feel better. And I was like, all right, bet. Like, that's what we're going to do. And now look at it,
Skadoosh. Right? I love
it. All her things. But I think for sure, like, and honestly, I think that our clients who are successful versus our clients who aren't successful, but who struggle, who like white knuckle kind of through the program, right, on a more consistent basis, the difference is releasing outcomes, right? The people who struggle through, especially the first few months of this program, because it is so fucking different, they are the ones who like, I have to lose 20 pounds by May. I have to lift this deadlift. I have to, and that's usually never the thing. But like, I have to fit into this dress. I have to do X, Y, and Z, right? The people who are super successful, and I would even venture to say, like, the people who have the fastest results are the ones who are just letting things happen organically and doing exactly what Megan said. I'm listening to my body. I'm eating when I'm hungry. I'm not eating when I'm full. I'm prioritizing proteins and plants. Like, I'm still eating everything that I love, but I'm just trying to do a little bit better for myself and only ask myself to do things that I know I can do long term. Like, it sounds really simple, but it's not. First of all, we all know that, right? It's hard to get to that point if you've lived on the other side of the world for so long, but like, that's where magic happens. The sooner you can get to that point that like, instead of weight goals, I just want to live normal life. I just want to do things that I can do forever. Like, when you have that flip happen, you're going to succeed. You're going to absolutely dominate.
I love that. This is actually, it's interesting. This is my big thing I'm really leaning into now. That is the almost like the definition of equanimity, and like the opposite of equanimity is anxiety, right? So equanimity is a level of like releasing outcomes and emotional neutrality, right? Where you're just like not, it's like, yeah, I care, but I don't care. Like, I want that outcome, but like, it'll happen when it gets here, because then now you're open to all these other things. But too often it's if someone had to say, Jared, what are the traits of the biggest strugglers and the most successful people? And it's the people who are trying to lose weight fastest struggle the longest. And the people who don't give a fuck about how fast or when their results happen, get it the fastest. And it almost seems effortless. Case in point, Megan, like,
Yeah.
But like that, but because a lot of people have a hard time with that, because that's the dichotomy of ambition and equanimity, is like, you have this ambition of like, I want this by this timeline with these goals and but then like, you got the other side of that. It's like, now you have to release outcomes and be okay with not getting it. And it's like, but there's an Venn diagram. That's the middle ground where you have to have both of those. It's literally one of my personal biggest struggles in anything in the world of achievement, is the balance of ambition and equanimity. But it's where all the magic happens, is in that balance. It's crazy. But now, wrapping up, Megan, so for you, have you noticed, like, with these things that are happening are affecting you, let's say outside of weight loss and outside of fitness, or is it just strictly you lost weight and you're eating more, which, like, that's a big deal. But like, you know what I mean? Is there other areas in your life where it's like that you're noticing it's making a difference as well?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just the social aspects. I'm not scared to like go out and enjoy myself. So I'm literally happier. I'm doing more with my friends. I'm like, I feel like I'm living and I'm not, being controlled by food anymore, if that makes sense.
You have what we call freedom.
I have freedom. I'm free.
For real though.
Seriously. And it's like, I feel happier. I feel more energetic, probably because I'm actually like nourishing my body with adequate amounts of food. But really I just overall feel better. And I know that, Abby, you mentioned this. It's like, these past few months have been pretty crazy in my life. And this has been like an anchor to hold on to and to kind of get me through and keep me grounded. So just in general, it's been the best experience.
I love that. That's so cool. Cause like, it's funny. People will say like, because I always want to know what not being where you want to be is costing you. Cause most people are oblivious, and someone's like, oh, I just like don't want to go out with my friends or do this or this. And I'm like, if you had to base a quality of one's life, it's arguably based on the quality of the emotions you experience and the experiences themselves. And if whatever that be, food anxiety, self-deprecative thoughts, not being comfortable, and the quality of your emotions are horrible, and it's causing you to not have experiences, then like the entire quality of your life just got flushed down the toilet by like something that is relatively simple to fix. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I would add in too, though, reading through, not to project your life story out there, but like through things that I have just seen in your check-in and the way that you're carrying yourself and the way that you're navigating through experiences, like your confidence is on another level. Your confidence is so much higher, honestly, just in not only how you carry yourself, but also in the way that like homegirl has boundaries now. Like
Hey.
she knows what she wants. She knows what she's not willing to accept. And like she's standing her ground in that. So for sure, there's so much food freedom that has happened. There's so much just physical change that has happened, but also like seeing the person that you have developed into in the last 3 months who like puts herself first, not in an assholey way, but like you're taking care of yourself, kind of mind, body, spirit, right? All three paths of these self you're taking care of, and like you're confident as fuck. You know what you're after. You're going after what you want. And it's just really dope to see that full picture kind of come together just from small tweaks and small changes and conversation. So super cool.
What's the coolest part about that, and half the reason why that shit happens from a psychological perspective, is another brand new how to word it, another new record of the past. Is if you've treated like yourself like shit for years and not shown up for yourself and break promises, it's no wonder like we have no confidence. If someone like, I have people in my life who have not shown and kept their word to me, so I view them as less of a person now, as we should, because that's a character flaw. So you have now a new familiar with yourself, where now you show up for yourself. You're now you almost like view yourself as like worthy of happiness. I'm assuming. I bet you're like, wow, I actually deserve these things. I deserve to be happy. I deserve to be free. I deserve to have boundaries. I deserve to live my life on my terms. Where it's like, that encompasses everything. You know what I mean? Is that pretty well what happened?
Absolutely. Like I could almost cry right now because it's so like just nail on the head. Like that is exactly how I'm feeling. And yeah, it's a new feeling and it's amazing. So I just want to thank you both, like just for helping me get to this place. Of course.
Absolutely. Here's the thing. You're the one that did the work. You're the one that went all in, invested in yourself, and are coachable and are following through and willing to unlearn. We always say we always talk about with coaching, like if you give me someone who's coachable, someone who's willing to unlearn, and someone who's willing to be a student and relearn, we can literally hand you over a whole new life. But without those three, if you're not a student willing to learn, you're stubborn and not willing to unlearn all your own bullshit, and you're not coachable, willing to take feedback that's uncomfortable, I can't do fucking shit with you, right? Think about think about anything in life, but the fact that you are like the picture perfect like case study for each of those, it's no wonder like you have a whole new life, and it's been 90 fucking days.
You know what I mean? I can't believe it.
That's awesome. That's super cool. This has been cool. Before we call it, is there anything, Megan, from people, because more than likely people listening have been in your situation or are where the old you was, right? You, let's say 90, 120 days ago. Is there anything that is sticking out to you that like they could implement right now that would like, that's been most profound to you that could really help a lot? Other than signing up for coaching, obviously that's the given, but like other than that.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things that's so grounding and just helped me through this process has been the journaling and the meditating when I can, like that whole, like the ecological aspect is so much more important than I think a lot of people realize, you know, and it's like getting that in check and being really self-aware and just reflecting, like that's going to give you the jump start to, you know, change your life.
That's awesome. A lot of people, what's funny is a lot of people are still like, oh, that's frou-frou bullshit. It doesn't work. But usually those people like do it for 2 weeks, but that's like, you could work out every day for 2 weeks and you'll still be fat. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like 2 weeks doesn't do shit. You won't be woke as fuck in 2 weeks. So
yeah,
I love it. Abby, anything on your end, anything that any words of wisdom from like people starting where Megan started, like anything to piggyback on that?
Yeah, I think that honestly, the moral of the story here is just that it gets better. Like if you're willing to invest in yourself, not even necessarily through coaching, but like invest through coaching, invest through giving yourself your own time, work through your inner stuff, to sit down and journal and meditate, to start letting yourself have foods that you enjoy again, start investing in yourself in some aspect. And know that it gets better. Like if you're willing to make some changes, you're willing to give yourself some grace, life is going to improve across the board. And one small change, something that feels like maybe a drop in the bucket, can be the thing that ends up overflowing your bucket.
I love that so much. Ladies, this has been fucking amazing and way better than, like, not that I thought it was going to be bad, but what blew away my expectations in general. This has been awesome. And Megan, you helped a lot of people today. Like, there are thousands of people that listen to this, and there's a lot of other Megans. So, yeah, you helped a lot of people today. So I appreciate your vulnerability. Abby, I appreciate you as well. Otherwise, guys, I will be getting this out. Thank you guys again, and I will talk to you soon. And we're back. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode of the podcast. I know if you stuck around and you're listening to this right now, you got a lot of value from this. I know that listening to Megan's story, I'm hoping it opens your eyes a little bit to what's possible for you and how it's not too late. How I don't care how shitty your situation is, like whether it's just as bad or even maybe worse or maybe not quite as bad as Megan's was, but that's how Megan was able to 180 her life. And there's no reason you can't. That's why the podcast is called Dieting from the Inside Out. She dieted from the inside out, and then all of the rest of the stuff kind of takes care of itself. Now, here's the thing. If that resonated with you, if Megan's story really hit home and you're like, fuck, I would really like to have that, and like you're ready for this and you're ready to go all in on yourself, I have a special opportunity for those of you that are action takers who are ready to invest in yourself and who are ready to have that 180 life. Because you're listening to the podcast, I have a very, very special offer for you. I don't have this anywhere else. This is only for podcast listeners because I'm really, really pouring into the podcast right now, and I really, really, really want to help you. And let's be honest, if you stuck around this long and you've listened to an episode just like this, you're probably not doing so hot. I'm going to assume that you probably could use some help, and you've probably been doing this for a really long time, and you may be in a similar spot that Megan used to be in. So if that's you and you're ready to invest in yourself, I have a special offer because, like I said, that you're coming from the podcast. Down in the description, I have a Calendly link, and I have a special coaching offer because I would love to lock arms with you, with me and my team in our coaching program, and do the exact same thing for you that we did for Megan. Like, just zoom out for a little bit and see, like, picture for yourself what your life would look like having that 180 transformation internally and then externally. That's how we have to do it. So what's going to happen is, because you're coming from the podcast, for those that get signed up for coaching and ready to go and who are investing with us and ready to rock and roll, I'm basically giving you like $4,000 worth of stuff. We can get into all the details about that stuff on the call down below. But basically what's happening is, for those that are signing up for coaching from the podcast, from this episode, because I value that, I'm basically giving you an additional like $4,000 worth of extra value, extra stuff, just totally for free. But here's the thing. We only work with those we know we can help. And before we can do anything, there's two things that have to happen. I want to make sure that you're a good fit for the program. I want to make sure that we actually think we can help you and solve your problems. But then also, I want to make sure that you have all the details. I want to make sure that you understand what's going on. Your expectations are in check. And this gives you space to ask questions and know how coaching works and what goes on. So now here's a cool thing though. Normally there's a pretty big interview process and application process to become a client of ours. But because you're coming from the podcast, I'm already going to assume like you're way more ready for this. Okay. So then instead of filling out this big application and things like that, there's a calendar link, a very special calendar link below in the description. You can literally schedule a call with my team right now. It's called an application call. That way we can just talk about like applying for coaching, all the details, get to know you more, see if you're a good fit, then answer all your questions. So you can literally get on my team's schedule right now. Just go down to the description, hit the special coaching link, and you'll get on my team's calendar. You'll be talking to my coaching specialist, Connor. He's my right-hand guy. And then we can go from there and make sure all your questions are answered and make sure you're a good fit. And then you literally can 180 your entire life. So I'm so excited for you. Be sure and check that out. And if you haven't already, be sure and subscribe to the podcast on whatever platform you're listening to this on, whether you're watching the video on YouTube or listening to the audio on iTunes or Spotify or all the other spots the podcast is on. Otherwise, I love you, and I will talk to you in the next episode.